Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. Today we're going to be putting together the Wanderlust project recipe. And I did a live video of the Wanderlust collection the other day, so if you're interested in seeing what comes with this collection, go ahead and look at my video list and you will see the Wanderlust Collection introduction. So for this project recipe, we are going to need 2 sheets of designer paper and 2 sheets of tone-on-tone paper. And I have chosen this one with the road and the mountains. And then also the back side of this one is the kind of calendar-y looking page. And the second one I chose is the one that had the Wanderlust definition and the stripes on the back side. We also need 2 tone-on-tone sheets of paper, and I've chosen the one with the compass or the globe and the arrows on it. It has this mappy looking pattern on the back of it. So we're going to set aside our 2 tone-on-tone sheets, and we'll begin cutting our designer paper, starting with this one, which we are going to cut in half at 6 inches. And for this, because I know I want it to go this way on the page, I'm going to cut it in half this way, because essentially this page is going to split. So you'll see that when we actually put together the final page for this. And it looks like that goes pretty much directly up the middle of the road on this sheet. So go ahead and set that aside. And for our next sheet, we're going to be making mostly mats out of it, but there also is going to be a point where we use both sides of the sheet of paper. And when I looked at this project recipe, I decided I wanted the stripes more for my mats, but I wanted people to actually be able to see this Wanderlust definition and to be able to read it. So I am going to be cutting my page this way because when we go to place it on, I want to be able to read the words. So first we're going to cut at 4 inches twice. So 4 inches and 4 inches. And I'm going to set the piece on the right to the right. I'm going to go ahead and turn this piece 90 degrees, and we need to cut this one at 6 inches and the first piece we cut as well at 6 inches. So there's 2 mats, and here's 2 more. And on our final piece, we need to turn it 90 degrees, and then we need to cut it 4 inches first. And then that leaves 8 inches left on the stripes, and this is the part where we actually need to turn again. We're going to cut it at 2 inches. And then this is going to be the part where we're actually going to have the words showing on the page. So there's all of our cutting, and I'm very sad that there are no scraps to make cards with from this project recipe. So we'll have to keep an eye out for other card videos for me in the meantime. coming back in with my first sheet that I cut, we actually do need to punch this with our border maker system. The Wanderlust Collection was released with a chevron arrow border maker cartridge as a companion to this collection, and I'm going to load it in to my border maker system. And when you're punching, let's see which direction. Okay, so this has the arrows going down. So we're going to be using the chevron arrow border maker cartridge, and you need to think about if you want your arrows going up or down on your page, and if you want both sides, because we're going to punch this side of our paper and we're going to punch this side of our paper. Now, when you go, if you don't have the chevron arrowed border maker cartridge, you need to use one of our other cartridges that is not a chain cartridge. You want this one. The punching is going to actually stay with the paper. And remember, I've talked before about the ones where the paper, the design comes away from the paper. So for this first one, I've decided that I want my arrows to go up. I am actually going to punch this one left-handed to make life easier for myself here. So you pull your tray out from underneath your border maker cartridge holder. We're going to line up the notches on our punch and on our paper holder here, and we're going to punch it just like we normally do. And there is the first set of punches. You can see that it's stayed with my paper, and we have our arrows running up the page. And again, these little pieces can be used later for another project. If you want something pointing somewhere, this would be fun to add to that, or little pentagons almost, it looks like. So those you can definitely play with later. But right now I'm going to punch my other side here, and remember, I want it to punch this side, but I want it to go up. So I am actually going to flip my paper because I need it on the outside of the page, and I want it going up again. And again, I apologize if this is confusing for anybody. Sometimes it's easier for me to do this left-handed, and hopefully you all can follow along for right-handed. Just flip your paper and you should be able to get it. There we go. So I now have the outside of my pages. One moment, and I will show you easier on the camera here once I get my confetti out of the way again. So here, we have our arrows running up the outside of both pages, and it'll show up nicely with our little globe paper underneath it. We're now ready to put together our pages. The first one, I'm going to work on the left side first. Set aside the right side of the page that you just punched. This one is going to line up here on the left side of the page. And we are going to be placing one of our 2" by 8" pieces towards the bottom of the page, and 2 of our 4 by 6 mats are going to go over here as well. And let me think about, I think I'm actually going to put mine a little bit lower because I want the mountain to show a little bit better on my page. And these both overlap this one just a little bit as well. So this is what it's going to look like. Let me get my tape runner and we'll put it together. I'm going to switch to the repositionable just for this little section. I want to make sure my outside sticks also. It's just easier to bring in the parchment sheet. Placing it down on the left side. And now my 2x8 piece here is going to go across the bottom. I think I'm gonna, there we go. And finally our two 4x6 mats. So you do want these to overlap the lower piece just a little bit, but not all the way. Here we go. And here is this. So that's the left side of our page. I do have a couple of embellishments I want to add, but we're going to put together the right side of the page first so we can see what they both look like together, and that will help pick out the embellishments as well. So for the right side of the page, I know I'm going to need the parchment board again. And this one is going on the right side. Again, our Wanderlust, our 2x8 piece, goes across the bottom of the page. And then we have 3 mats we'll be placing. First one, the stripes are going to go up. The second one, the stripes will go across. And this third one is going to go up over here. Actually, well, they want it in a little further. So we'll see what I wind up doing with my papers here. Here we go. And here comes our final one up here. And I'm going to put this one in just a little bit. All right. So here are both of our pages. This one was pretty quick and easy to put together as well. Both of our pages are here. And I really like the look overall. I like the stripes and I like the words down here. I picked out a couple of embellishments. I kind of almost wanted to repeat the scene that was on our base, one of our the designer sheet that we cut, but I did pull these as well just because I wasn't sure how I would feel about it once the pages were done, but I do like that. And then I also pulled a couple of mats, and I really liked the look of this one because of the colors just flow really well with the background page and the color of the stripes. And I thought this would make a really nice journal box, and I like that there. So I am going to place that there. So we have those, and I don't want to clutter things up too much more. I think those are the only two I'm going to add. I did also pull out my stickers just in case I wanted to add, you know, like the open road or let's go see the world or one of the fun stickers, but I really don't think it's going to be necessary, and I like the embellishment and the mat here. So this was one of the smaller mats, just so that way if you all are looking for it, I pulled it from the smaller sized mats. And we're going to add this up here. And I don't want it overlapping. I want to actually see that mountain page as much as possible. I'm going to tuck this flush with this upper corner here as best I can. Oops. There we go. So that's going up here for my journaling. And then I'm going to add this embellishment. And honestly, I'm not even going to use foam squares this time, I know. I just like it kind of the way it is. The photo itself on this designer paper has enough dimension to it. So does the embellishment, so I don't want to use the foam squares this time. That is it. That is our Wanderlust project recipe. So now, are you ready for the mashup? For the mashup, I'm going to be using Botanical Burst. Let me set these aside. And I'm going to pull out what I've picked for Botanical Burst here. And here we go. This is what I've picked for the Botanical Burst. I have a couple embellishment packs. I have the green petals and the blue petals. I'm going to set those aside, and I also need to change out my border maker cartridge because I want to show you another option that you can use with this project recipe. It wouldn't be a mashup if I didn't mash it up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to use our Bridge border maker cartridge. And for those of you that have been paying attention to my YouTube channel, I do actually have a Bridge border series that you can enjoy as well. My base pages are these green, kind of almost palm looking leaves. This is the back side of the paper, but these are going to be my base pages. my page I am going to split is going to be this blue one, and then the back side of this blue is this plaid. You could easily use that as well. And then my mats for my pictures are going to be the floral, and then I'm just going to highlight it with this cute geometric design on that as well. So first things first, let's cut some paper. Get my trimmer back out here. We're going to cut this one at 6 inches. And then we're going to set it aside for when we punch. For my other sheet, we're going to cut 4 inches twice. Okay, here. Okay, so we're going to set that one to the right. I had a little piece come off. I'm just going to fix with my scissors here real quick, and not a problem, it's paper. I'm going to turn this 90 degrees, and I am going to cut it at 6 inches, and then I'm going to cut my second one on my left side here at 6 inches. So essentially we have 4 by 6 mats for our pictures. We're going to turn this end piece that we had to the right. I mean, essentially it's all 4, 4, and 4 to 12-inch sheet of paper. So this top one is going to be 4 by 4 inches. One more mat. And then this is going to be our 2 by 8. So over to 2 inches. And there we go. Set those aside. And I went ahead and flipped them over because that will remind me when we go to put the page together to flip it. So on this one, I'm guessing my paper kind of went a little more like this. I'm just going to go along the outside, and I'll go ahead and do this right-handed. I hope I didn't confuse anybody on that other one, but I was just wanting to make sure I had my arrows go in a certain direction. So pull your bottom tray out, fold it under. I have my bridge cartridge loaded, and I'm going to line up the notches. And I just really liked the idea of the bridge with the florals. It kind of has a little bit of whimsy to it. So that's going to be our left side of our page. And I did turn it when I went to punch it because this was the middle of my paper and I could see this white geometric rectangle up here, and I wanted to keep that matched up on my page. So when I went to punch, I did flip it so that way I was punching down the outside, and on this one I'll punch down the outside as well. We all know the pieces from the bridge border can be used for a card. That one is in one of my other videos as well. So fun. I love it when we can repurpose our scraps. Although the scraps alone, we don't have enough to do an entire card out of. Here's our second bridge punching. Okay. Here we go. Set that aside. Go ahead and move these aside. And we are ready to put together our pages again. Oops. So we'll go ahead and start on the left side of our page here. I'm going to grab my parchment lined board and my repositionable tape because we have all these fun holes in our bridge border and we want to make sure that the ends stay down. I'm going to use so it's a combination of the permanent and the repositionable is what I'm using to stick this down. If you want to use all repositionable, that's up to you. We're going to line up our bridge with the end of our page here. And it's good to have the repositionable tape because at least we can move it just a little bit here. Trying to get it lined up a little bit better. There's the top. Here's the bottom. There's the edge. And I kind of want this as close to the edge as I can get it. There we go. Okay. Next, we need to get our 2x8 piece for the bottom part here and 2 of our 4x6 mats that we cut. One is going sideways and one is going up and down. So let's place down our geometric one first. And the great thing about reversible paper is you can reverse it. You can use the other side if you like that side better. Or you can even keep them all three the same if you want. I think I did that on one of the other project recipes as well. Like I said, I'm not always the best at following the instructions exactly. And that's where you get a little creativity going. It's your page. You do it how you want to do it. If you want to move something out a little bit or in a little bit, go for it. As long as you're happy with the page, that's what matters. Okay, so the left side is done. Get our right sheet down here and let's get going with this bridge again here and the repositionable tape. Okay, here we go. Get this lined up on the bottom here, looking at the side. And I think that looks pretty good. Oops. Apparently I missed the angle here a little bit. There we go. And our next bridge is stuck down. Our next page here, our 6x12 sheet. We're going to get our 2x8 piece for the bottom here and our 3 mats. This one's going this way, this one's going to go this way, and the other one is going to be up here. Okay. Now the 4x4 sheet will go up here. And actually, I think on this page, I'm going to put it up and away just a little bit. Actually, I think I'm going to put it up here. Just to show a little bit of a difference there. A different look. Bringing in my other page. Here we go. We have a lot of different colors and some fun patterns going on. This would be great for some pictures to the botanical garden, I think. Or really even just any outdoor type pictures. So I pulled some flowers and some leaves from our Botanical Burst, green petals and blue petals. And I'm going to go ahead and start sticking them down. And these have a little bit of a rounded part to them, so we probably need to go ahead and use the small foam squares just because they're going to have that height already, just because they're dimensional from the way they cut the embellishments at the factory. So I'm going to go ahead and start placing on my leaves and on my flowers here. And let's see, because I had two that had a little more yellow tone to them, and I want those two to kind of be more on the outside. These are the ones that came from the green petal pack. So actually I'm going to place this one first, the one that came from the blue pack, because that's going to be my center one, and everything will go out from the center. Here we go. This is going up here to highlight the corner up there. See roughly where I'm going to place my flower. So I'll put that right there. And then my third one. Will go up here. So my flowers are going to overlap just a little bit, and I think I'm going to highlight probably the green one a little bit more because we have the blue background behind it. So this is going to go up here. I want to make sure it stays on the page, and then we'll just have the petals kind of covering up the stems a little bit from the leaves as I place it down and on top of it a bit. Here we go. But we do want to see our center of our flower. So there we go. We have our two flowers up here. And then I also pulled one of the smaller flowers for each of the lower corners, and then I picked one of the leaves that had stripes and one that kind of has more of a little bit of a scalloped look to it. Let's get some squares on these. And also pulled our sheet of buttons because I think I'm going to highlight our center of our flower, highlighting also the darker color from our leaf. So I'm just going to put our two leaves kind of close together down here because our flower is going to go here. But this is so almost like a yellowy green. I really kind of wanted to pull like the stripes back in a little bit from this other one. So I'm going to pull this striped one and put it in the center here of my flower just to give it a little something different going on to draw the eye. And I'm going to kind of angle it so where the stripes are all kind of running the same way. And then I have another set from the blue collection, using repeating patterns of the leaves with kind of almost the scallopy look and the striped look. And I'm also going to pull a button for this one as well. This one, the stripes are pink, so actually I'm going to pull this one. It has a little more of a purpley, pinky stripe to it on this button. Let's get the foam squares going. Uh-oh. Let's get that one turned around because I want my flower here. This one is going to go kind of over this other one a little bit. And finally our flower. And there we go, the Wanderlust project recipe using the Botanical Burst papers and embellishments. A completely different look to the page, but just as beautiful as our Wanderlust one. Let me pull that back out. So here's our Wanderlust page that we did earlier. And you can see kind of a completely different look to it, but just a very similar yet very different. How you can cut the same cuts on the paper and come up with something just so uniquely, beautifully different, and using our slightly different punch as well. And again, sadly, this one does not have all the scraps for card making. So this mashup will not have our scrap cards, but our next one should. We will be doing another one very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and if you would like YouTube to let you know when I post my next video, hit the bell as well.